Well, hello and welcome to the weekly roundup for week. I guess this is 5 now. I lose track of everything. We've got a double episode coming today to you today. We're going to do the weekly roundup, award the game ball and the helmet stickers, and I'm also going to be doing a interview conversation with my good friend Mr. Leonard Butler Sr, Cadillac Style himself. Go ahead and say hello to him there, Leonard.
Hello, guys in the green. With me down in the Bayou, Louisiana, hanging out in the gumbo.
Oh man, wouldn't a big old bowl of gumbo be good right now?
Well, no, I have to try to cake.
Well, I am actually going to New Orleans for the first time ever in my life in the spring. My wife and I have decided we haven't taken a vacation in 2.5 years, and we decided that we've already got us a house we've rented down there, and we're heading down to New Orleans in April for a week. So we're really looking forward to it. And I told her I gotta try me a good at least one bowl of gumbo when I'm down there. So
That's nothing but a hop, skip, and a jump down the hall.
See,
Yeah.
and I tell you,
hook you up some.
And where you're at over there in Middle Tennessee, I come over there once life gets back to normal. I'll be popping over there. We're going to have to go out to dinner.
You don't have to go out to dinner, Mark.
Oh man! Now, I think I can be over there in about 3 hours.
You're welcome anytime.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. And if you ever head over towards these mountains here in North Carolina, you got you a place to stay as well. Where we are. Now we're definitely one big family there in Louisiana, and even though we're spread all over the place. Well, last week that was a tough defensive game. I mean, what was it? Over and under on that thing was like 57.5.
Yeah.
And we scored 26 total. Now that kind of surprised me. But hard fought game. Everybody played tough, and we were able to hold on for the victory. Hats off to DC. They played a heck of a game against us. Looking at this one, we were kind of, me and Tommy and Mr. Butler there were having a conversation about who we're going to award the game ball and the helmet stickers to on this one. And we're going to start out with offense. We're going to give the helmet sticker on that to wide receiver Chase Earl. He was targeted, I guess is the phrase they use, 8 times, and he had 8 receptions, 69 yards, average of 8.6 yards per reception. And I think that's watching that game, he made the catches we needed to keep drives alive, to keep plays happening. And I think that was a big something that I think kind of gets overlooked if we get looking at the big numbers and who has the big numbers. But I think with Chase, it was kind of interesting when we were in those situations where we needed a first down, we needed to move the ball. It seemed like it was Chase's name that was getting called. And on the defense, we decided with defensive end Derek Ginkgo. He had 1.5 sacks, a total of 2 tackles for loss. Once again, that defensive line is just so dominating. I mean, it just, we only ended up with 2 sacks in that game, but they were big. I mean, one of them I think was at the end of the half, if I remember correctly. The game ball, and Mr. Utah kind of had a different take on this, but Mr. Butler and I have been talking about this. We cannot, I think, in good conscience, give it to anybody besides our quarterback, Tommy Utah. Once again, he's a rookie. 27 of 28 for 227 yards. His one incompletion was an interception. So technically, you could make the argument he was 28 of 28. His quarterback rating was only a 96.43 because he didn't have any passing touchdowns and the interception. But what do you think about that, Mr. Butler?
It's on there. 27, 28. accuracy, yards made in the catches. You know, just that's phenomenal.
Yeah, you look at that.
Too.
I mean, that kind of production out of a rookie. And if you look at it, 200, what did I say, 227 yards, 27 completions. So he's averaging about between 8 and 9 yards a completion. So he's not throwing these little out routes to get his completion number. He's throwing it down the field. And
I'm talking about
I lost your audio again, sir.
Fell out. Fell in the there again.
Yep. No, it's all right. Technology is we're going to get it figured out here because it is throwing it like that. That was the game plan that we needed to win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one I was concerned about. Just because DC has been playing some good ball. And if we got out of the game plan that we wanted to put together, I think that could have blown up on us real fast. But there's a lot of phrases used for quarterbacks. And the one, playing Madden over the years and all these video games, the quarterback that I always want to have on the field for me is they call him the general. That's what Tommy is for us. He leads us and makes the completions and the plays that we need him to make when we need him to make them. He's not having to win the game himself. We're not trying to put this on him and say, okay, we want you to come out and throw 500 yards, but we need you to do this and do it well.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. So sorry, Mr. Utah, we overrode you on this one, but we're going to give the game ball to you. That's just a phenomenal performance. Hats off to you. Next week we play Atlanta. Another tough game. I mean, it's I don't remember if we're at home or not. I know it's Sunday at like 12:15 Eastern time.
Might look at fall off my chair again.
What's that?
Fall off my chair again.
No, you're good. But yeah, that's going to be, and I'm not going to take a gander on that. I'm not going to take a guess on that one. It's kind of like which Revolution team is going to show up.
Yeah.
If it's the one that's shown up the last 2 weeks, we can beat anybody. If it's the one that showed up that first week, that first half was that was tough. So
yeah,
we hope that not only the Revolution, but other people come out and watch us play. We're looking forward to that game. Looking forward to next week. Hopefully we're going to be talking about another victory up there. Now I want to shift gears. Now we're going to do the second part of this one. And I've got to kind of tell the story behind this. And Mr. Butler, correct me if I make any mistakes on this. You and I were on opposing sides in the it was a championship game, right? Yep, of the minor leagues. And that's when I was introduced to Cadillac Style. And I got to tell you, folks, this man is one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. I have traveled all over the world. I've met hundreds, if not thousands of people, but he's just a genuinely nice, happy man. And it's always a pleasure to talk to him. And after the game was over, I remember I was sitting there watching it with my wife, and Madison won, and I actually, part of me felt bad because we beat you, because and that's kind of the nature, I think, of this league. I looked at you as a friend at that point, and I wanted my friends to have a good experience. And the fact that we won, I felt there was part of me that felt kind of bad because I knew that you were disappointed because you hadn't won.
Yeah, it was disappointing to go that far and come up short.
Now I will
It's
tell
still
you,
a good game.
it was. I will tell you this: when I come over and I actually get to meet you in person in Tennessee, I will bring my championship ring so you can try it on. Okay.
Right out there with you. Now, I'll also tell her this is a
What's
we
that?
were talking about
You cut out on me again. We're
this
gonna
is
get this. It's
this
okay.
is yeah, that they would have threw the ball to me more, I would have won.
Yo, see, yeah, that's it. That is so true. I got the easy bit. I just have to kick it.
Yeah,
So
I wasn't playing defense on that.
yeah. See, so you played, if I remember right, tight end,
If I didn't,
and you
under,
get drafted
undernourished, I didn't.
undernourished tight end. Well, you get drafted by Louisiana, but not to play tight end.
No.
So how did that all come about?
Well, but I was a pro. I Louisiana told me straight up, looking for type. Be interested in playing offensive line. And I'm like, well, I really would like to play that. Well, you might still get that chance. They made the sale, come into the fold, you'll run. It ain't no slipping in, you'll be out there from start one. I thought about it. Then when I got there and they had Reggie Streeter in the backfield, and I sit and diagnosed a lot of the plays I was running. When I pulled, Reggie got big yards.
Oh yeah.
It was funny how it worked. And that was exciting because I was like, okay, let's take a hold, guys, and getting out in front of 34 was an experience, to pro starting out my first season. It's that. What's that? The locker room was great. Bunch of great guys. We had a lot of fun. Offense. Group of guys. And I think the best overall thing that really made me happy after I got to camaraderie and the truth. Nobody sugarcoated anything or promised. It's what we got. This is what we need. And it's worked out well.
Now, if I understand correctly, you're originally from Louisiana. Is that correct?
Yes.
So see, this is a match made in heaven.
Right here, on for the west and south. Yeah, it is. It was going home.
Well, you spent 2 seasons on the offensive line, and now you're not on the offensive line anymore. Where are you playing now?
I get to hit people now.
So I mean, and for those that don't know this, that draft that we came out in, there were 7 full rounds in that draft. I mean, and there were all kinds of, if you were drafted in the first 2 rounds, you had to go in your primary position. If it was in rounds 3 and 4, it was your secondary in 5 through 7, anywhere. But after 2 seasons, we had to make, if you were drafted in anything after the second round, you had to make a decision. And, looking at the roster in Louisiana, there really wasn't a spot for you as a receiver or a tight end. But they turned around and offered you a spot on the defensive line. And obviously you took it. Why did you kind of decide to change? Because you, as you said, you were opening up holes for Reggie. I mean, it was you were a big part of that offense success. So what kind of went through your mind to make that change?
Like a shark in the water. In real life, I was ahead of him. I was ahead of him. Style with my dimples, and I would hit and to be a player on the, I have that same attitude. I take my real life attitude into the sensation attitude with it, I don't have to do no dance. The only thing I wish that we could do is laugh. If I make it to the quarterback or whatever, back, I can reach down, people play up, bitch me in the ear, I'll be.
So this is what you played in real life, was defense.
Yes, I played defensive end and outside lineman.
Ah, okay.
More D end than I did lineman.
And so
I was real good in cover. I was good.
That idea of hitting somebody just kind of comes natural.
Oldest between you and I. In high school, the coach asked me why did I like hitting. I told him this is the only place I can hit another person and not catch
it. Well, there it is, man. The words from the man himself. And here's the part that shocks me, to hear you say that. You are such a nice guy.
Hi.
I mean, you seem like nothing at all ever bothers you, and you always have this just pleasant attitude. And we see it even in the stuff that you type in the locker room. There's just this happiness about life that comes out of you. But to hear you say, this is a place I get to hit people.
My wife said I'm the biggest goofball.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that, you're a little bit older than me, but we're I think me, you, Tiberius, and there's a couple more kind of in our range, but we're few and far between in this league, and I think it shows that you're never too old to have fun.
No. People on big blue balls, and if they would just back away from that and understand they're in class, get a good grade, stop visiting here and go home.
Yep.
That's my psyche. That's where I was raised by. That's the way he sees. I thought of following a lot of philosophy. I always was able to make pass rates. Got to keep that out. I hope that when I do give up the ghost, I'll have people standing there looking down and say, well, but hit people. You look good to us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess once we start to get at the age that we're getting to, you start looking forward in your life, but at the same time you're looking back. And I sometimes with my students I get very deep and philosophical. And I remember one time I was talking to a group of upperclassmen, and I said, if I'm lucky, I got 30 years left. If I'm lucky, and I know how long 30 years is, because I know what I was doing 30 years ago. And I also realized that when I was 30 years ago, there was a lot of pent up energy that I felt I had to get rid of. And now that I'm, 57, I realized that that was a lot of wasted time and energy. And I'm kind of like you. I'm hoping when my time here is done that they're going to say, yeah, he was passionate about what he did, but he had a lot of fun doing it.
That's cool. That's your good. Hear people talk about and great that people are. But when they talk about somebody that made it, I like to smile. I like to help. And in the grand scheme, that's what we're here for, to help one another. All right. The only thing a person should have that you want is their friendship.
Oh, I love that line. Ooh, I like that. I love that. That is so true.
That is
I mean, wow, that is. And folks, if nothing else, that line right there shows you why I have so much respect for this man. That wisdom that he just laid out there. I mean, hey, I got the hair going. It started to stand up. I could feel it, man. The only thing we should want from anybody else is their friendship. That is, woo. I like that. I tell my students, because they're all shocked. They haven't seen me in a year and a half, and I walk in and I got this. And when the last they saw me, it was all cut real close. And I told them, this is my COVID cut. I'm not getting my hair cut until life is completely back to normal. And so one of my students yesterday said, so does that mean it's going to be dragging the ground? But yeah, and I think that is, but I tell them I don't have a receding hairline. Mine's in full retreat. And I didn't realize till I was down here recording, I am almost completely bald up here. So,
but it looks good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My students have told me I look like Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about Halloween dressing up as Ben Franklin, but I don't know about shaving the goatee off. The last time I did that, my wife gave me funny looks for about a month till it grew back. She didn't like me without a goatee, but it's that's what I one of the reasons I love talking to you. I have so much respect for you is we just have fun. Yeah.
We had fun first day we
Yeah, we did. And I told Ashley after that interview was over, her and I talked about a week later, and I said that was the most fun I had that whole, and nothing against my Madison teammates, because I had some great teammates, but sitting there talking to you, it showed to me what this was all about. As I met someone who I found out that we lived 30 miles away from each other. When I was in Tennessee, and it's somebody I can't wait to sit down and have dinner with. We're looking at seeing what happens before it may be next year before we're able to come back, but we are, and I definitely, if you're still interested in those Titans tickets, let me know. Dad's got them, and I know this is being out there, and everybody's like, "Hey, you got Titans tickets?" But yeah, I'm going to say this out there: you have a conversation. If you want to go to some of those home Titans games, let me know, and I'll hook you up. Okay. It's something else. It's just fun. And I think that's the other thing that I've seen in this league, which impresses me so much. How we reach out to help and interact with each other. I know everybody, all the people that went to convention talked about how great that was. And for those of us that couldn't go, it was a disappointment. I mean, I know you tried to get a load down there, so you were able to get down there. It was just too far for me. So I'm really hoping Nashville next year. You hear that, Cam? Nashville next year? convention, Nashville, I can do that. That's 6 hours. If you go to Florida, that's 14 hours. I can't do that. Not in a weekend.
Central.
Nashville's a hop, skip, and a jump for you.
North, south, east, and west.
Well, maybe that's what I need to do. Is if they have put it off somewhere I can't go, you just swing by here in North Carolina and pick me up.
I'll hook you up. Passenger seat always available.
Man, I may have to take you up on that sometime. Get out and see some more of the country. But oh man, I'm retiring in a couple of years.
Are you?
Yeah. I will. Actually, it's 3.5, 4.5 years. I'm retiring. I'm done.
My wife.
My wife's retiring in 2.5.
Okay.
That'll be 30 years for her as a teacher.
I'm just starting.
I have been working since I was 11 years old.
That should be.
Oh, you're kidding.
At 9.
Oh my
grandfather.
Wow. It's been about, well, I would say it's about time for you to hang up your driving shoes, but you enjoy it too much.
Yes.
And I think
if I wasn't married, I'd still be playing football.
Wow.
I didn't hang up my cleats until
you're kidding.
Wrap it on football.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
The best part about it is, didn't wait for the last whistle. I was taking off my cooking. You can have that. Young man done.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, you are kind of like, for someone my age, you are someone that kind of passion and ability is something that I could have only dreamed of. I mean, to be, my age, the age I am right now, and making that change in your life. And to not lose the passion. I mean, and I think that's the big thing. And I know we're kind of veering off of SFL, but I love teaching. I've been this is my 16th year teaching, and I love it. And I don't want to be in a situation where I'm doing it where I don't love it anymore. And for you to be able to say, I did it, and when I walked away, I still loved it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I walked away. And I think that's the for most of these youngsters, this will be lost on them. Like Kenny Rogers, the song "The Gambler." You got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away, and you want to walk away proud. And I mean that's you, and that's just so impressive. And so, how long were you in the Army? Oh, I lost you again.
Oh,
there we go. You're back.
I was in the United States Marines.
Oh, okay. It was Marines. I thought it was Army. 4 years.
And going to the Tennessee Army National Guard.
Wow. So came out after 4 years. Did you go back to Tennessee?
Yes.
So been there ever since, huh? Yeah, I was talking to my father because he lived in Franklin for 20 some years. And I was talking to him over the weekend, and we were talking about all the flooding over in Waverly and Dixon and that kind of stuff. And I said something about some other stuff that I'd read the news about Franklin. And Dad said, yeah, he had read that. And they talked about how it was a affluent suburb of Nashville. And I'm like, wait a minute, no. And he told me that it goes all the way down to Spring Hill now. And the growth that you guys are seeing there is astronomical. And yet, and I once again, I think this is just indicative of who you are. You've in the changes that have happened there. I mean, I moved there in '93, and the changes that have happened in there, but yet you're still happy to be there. I mean, I will say this to everybody listening to this. If you have not had the opportunity to get to know Mr. Leonard Butler Sr., you're missing out. And I encourage you. Now, he's hard to get a hold of because this man's on the road. We were real lucky to get him home today and be able to talk to him. But if you have not had the opportunity to meet this man, this is a man that you need to have on your list of people to talk to. It's just, every time I talk to him, I learn something new. And every time I talk to him, I'm more and more impressed, even if it's just through DMs or in the locker room. So here we are, halfway, 5th game of the season. We're 2-3. What are your thoughts?
Play the chorus. Play together. I think I put in the chat the other day, we're like a whole new powerful ones with the same members for the tournament. New groups get together in the last, when the first good album comes out, start dispersing because they're going to the same. The 5 team, one of the things I do, we got stars on my team. We got impact players on our team. All our teammates hold everybody in the same hole. We're family. That's key. Family.
Yes. Yep.
Like you was talking earlier, I don't know another thing about technical. You absolutely want your computer blowed up, call me. I'm the one to do it. But at the same time, I know in chat, and I like being the goofball. I had fun today with my riddle me this.
Yes, yes. I haven't got one yet. I have not even gotten close to one yet.
Somebody asked me, do you write this stuff? Do you find this stuff? I find it in that crazy brain. It pops off the top of my brain, and I put it in it, and I think it picks people up. If they're having moments, it makes them laugh. I love to win. I'm a very competitive person. I had somebody in chat my first season. Celebration is fake. It's real if you put realism into it. I don't know anybody that's built a player that's playing as a player, wants that player not to excel in something.
Yep.
I love Louisiana for helping me. Like my first join in the minors, I probably would be playing tight end, but I had a small tight end. But Louisiana brought me on the big fold, helped me, and they seen something in my second, that they could use. And they taught me a lot. Well, look, I'm on a program talking to you on electronics. That's an upgrade.
Well, but I tell you, I think the thing with Louisiana that's impressed me in the short time I've been there, we want to win. Everybody does, and as you said, we want our players to do the best. You know, I want to be the best kicker in the SFL ever. I mean, you know, that's part of what drives us with this. But that relationship in the locker room is everything.
Yes,
I mean,
it means a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Really does. So, teammate is going, I'm out. I'm not going to do one thing hurt you. I'll bend over back.
Yep.
And I don't like seeing nobody unhappy. I really don't. I just don't. I don't like seeing clowns and woes and woes. I enjoy it.
Well, and that's I mean, I know we kind of said this, but that's what makes what that team, the players in Louisiana, we're always there to pick each other up. I mean, and it's, you know, life's been tough the last couple of years, year and a half. I myself going back to school for the first time in 18 months, walking back into a school building. Um, Gerald and Ross have been phenomenal in supporting me and understanding that balance I have to have there. And the fact that I need an opportunity to disconnect from the stress. I don't want more stress in my life. Nobody does. And they are phenomenal at recognizing that. And I think it's just kind of indication of not only Ross and Gerald, but that whole front office that we have of how they brought in this very diverse group. I mean, you got some very strong personalities in that locker room, but we get along great. As long as we give Doug his Twinkies, everything's going to be fine.
Like the other week, he was going to beat you.
Well, I tell you, you know, we could probably sit here and talk like this for forever, but I don't want to break my 1 hour mark on recordings. We're definitely going to have to do this again. Get maybe a couple other guys in on it. Have kind of a round robin thing going, and I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate so much you taking the time to sit down with us, kind of go through our game of the week and have a conversation with me. I'm just I feel very honored to call you a friend, and I thank Cam and the SFL for having this organization, if nothing more than I was able to meet you, and so I know, you know, I've made some really good friends, but just I just think you're something special, and I really, there were times and I was having a tough time, and you always made me laugh, even when we weren't in a locker room together. I mean, I'd hear you, see you say something in general chat, you just pop in and say something, and it was just off the wall, and I just laugh. And there were times that's what I needed to remember that I could laugh. And thank you for that. Thank you for being who you are. You know, with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you kind of say your final word on this, and I'm going to wrap this thing up for our listeners.
Okay, Otis, I appreciate you having me on. It's a privilege and an honor. And they told me to come to you. I think I hope the house jumping down. Almost like we started this journey together. Now we are together.
Yep.
Don't finish it. You're gonna finish it on a high note.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Always said that. Cadillac Style.
There we go. That phrase, and I've got my Otis shirt. You know, for those you don't know, Louisiana we got our own line of merchandise, and I've got my with a name like Boudreaux, you know, but I'm getting ready to place my second order, and it is going to have a Cadillac Style t-shirt in it. And I'm going to, on the side of my computer, I'm going to get stickers for all there you go. That's the shirt right there. I'm going to have the stickers for all the players, and I'm going to have them put on the side of my computer. So I will, when that happens, I'll kind of lose the nice serene sunset background and show. I've got my flag over here and the poster over here, and you know, and that just shows the way this league is, the way this team is. So thank you for taking the time to sit with me and talk to me and share your wisdom and your humor with me again, and with everybody that's out there. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed listening into me and Mr. Butler reminisce about the SFL, minor leagues, and life. You know, because at the end of the day, no matter who the player is on the field, the one behind the screen is what makes it right. And I've enjoyed getting to know him, and I can't wait to get to know him even more. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening in. And we hope that you guys have a safe and wonderful week, and we'll see you back next week. Y'all take care.